My teacher humiliated me in front of the entire class for lying about my home situation. Today she met my mom. Mrs. Henderson always picked on me in 5th grade, but the worst day was when she made me stand up and apologize to the class for being a liar. It started because I'd been falling asleep during math lessons. Not on purpose, but I was so tired I couldn't keep my eyes open. She'd slam her hand on my desk and ask if her teaching was boring me. The real problem was that Mom worked 3 jobs to keep our apartment. She'd leave for her cleaning job at 4 a.m., work at the grocery store until 3 p.m., then head to her evening shift at the diner. I'd get myself ready for school and wouldn't see her until almost midnight. Our upstairs neighbors had this baby that cried all night long. The walls were paper thin, so I'd lie awake listening to screaming until Mom got home. Then I'd finally fall asleep around 1 a.m., only to wake up at 6:30 for school. When Mrs. Henderson called on me during a math problem and I couldn't answer because I dozed off, she'd had enough. "Why are you so tired all the time?" she demanded in front of everyone. I quietly explained about Mom's work schedule and the crying baby. Some kids turned around to stare at me and I felt my face getting hot. Mrs. Henderson crossed her arms and got that look teachers get when they think you are making excuses. "So you are telling me your mother works until midnight every single night? And here is a baby crying all night long." She walked closer to my desk. "And your mother just leaves you alone all day to fend for yourself?" I nodded, not understanding why she seemed so angry about it. "That's quite a story," she said loudly. "Class, does anyone else have such dramatic home lives that prevent them from paying attention?" A few kids giggled. I wanted to disappear. "I think someone has been watching too much Dong and confusing it with real life," she continued. "Hopefully parents don't abandon their children to work all hours of the night." She made me stand up in front of everyone. "I want you to apologize to the class for disrupting our learning with your made-up stories, and tomorrow I expect you to tell me the truth about why you were not paying attention." I mumbled an apology while 25 kids stared at me. Some were smirking like they'd figured out I was a fraud. For the rest of the year, Mrs. Henderson would make comments about my creative imagination whenever I seemed tired. Other kids started calling me story time in the hallways. I stopped mentioning anything about home after that when I was hungry because we'd run out of groceries before Mom's next paycheck. I stayed quiet. When I came to school in the same clothes 2 days in a row because Mom hadn't had time to do laundry, I made up something about it being my favorite outfit. Yesterday was parent-teacher conferences. Mom had specifically requested the evening slot because it was the only time she could make it work with all 3 jobs. I am in high school now, but Mom wanted to go back and thank some of my elementary teachers who had helped me. Mrs. Henderson still teaches 5th grade at the same school. Mom walked into that classroom wearing her diner uniform because she comes straight from her shift. Her name tag was crooked, her hair was pulled back in a tired OPEF, and she had that exhausted look she always gets by 8 p.m. Mrs. Henderson smiled and introduced herself clearly, not remembering me or my mom. "I wanted to thank you for teaching my daughter," Mom said politely. "I know it couldn't have been easy when she was so tired all the time." Mrs. Henderson's smile faded a little. "Tired? I was working 3 jobs back then," Mom explained. "I'd leave before she woke up and get home after she went to bed. Plus, our neighbors had a newborn that cried constantly. I felt terrible that she was so exhausted at school." I watched Mrs. Henderson's face change as she realized who we were. "She told me you thought she was lying about our situation." "Mom," continued, her voice still calm but with an edge I recognized, "I just wanted you to know that some kids really do live like that." Mrs. Henderson started stammering about misunderstandings and how she doesn't remember the specifics. Lung smiled, that polite smile she uses with difficult customers at the diner. "I am sure you don't have a good evening." We walked out of that classroom and Mom didn't say another word about it, but I saw her hands shaking as she pulled out her car keys. She still works 2 jobs now. I have a part-time job to help out, and I've never once heard her complain